Being 205 was like really honestly a terrible struggle for me. I've always had the constant battles of hunger cravings, low energy, and honestly just terrible self-confidence. I never realized that there were skills that I needed to unlock for me to actually be able to lose 65 pounds of fat in less than 6 months. There was this one moment where I actually set up a group meetup with my gym bros and decided to actually go eat after a workout session. So I hit up all my homies and tell them, come, we're gonna go to this place, come, we're gonna go to this place. Of course, some of them flanked, but some of them actually came over and actually wanted to work out together. We worked out, and eventually we decided to go to a place called K-pop. I recommended this spot. And the crazy thing is with K-pop is that the food there, they don't really serve it to you. You have to cook it your own. So basically, we all go over there and make a table, and I tell them what to order, what they eat. And the crazy thing is that whenever I'm telling them what they eat, they're like, whoa, they have chicken, whoa, they have pork, whoa, they have beef, shrimp. Oh my god, they were so flabbergasted, and I was telling them, let's just order what the proteins you want, and let's go get some sauces. I tell them, you can make your own, or you can either look at those presets and look at the ones that you want and just copy off of those. I got this one guy who got like cilantro, some green onion, and I was telling him, buddy, that's for your sauce, not for you to eat. And then I had my other gym bro, which, I mean, relatively, he was kind of eating really bad. I did see him getting some fried food and some dessert, but, everyone has their little bits of indulgences. So we get our sauces and everything, and we go back to our table. The food's already there. So I'm telling them, everyone, let's just jump all the proteins in there on the grill and let it cook. And then this is when one friend told me this: I don't know how to cook. And the other buddy was like, yeah, me neither. And I look at them with a questioning mind. If you guys are trying to lose weight, how do you guys not know this one skill? All I have to do is just simply put the protein on the grill and let it cook. They tell me, I don't know how you do that. Chef Roy, Chef Roy. And I'm like, guys, it's not even that difficult. I'm like always saying, what do you guys eat after you guys get off the gym? One says Chick-fil-A, another one says whatever my girlfriend makes. I question myself of, is this why I was able to make so much progress in my weight loss journey? It's because of this one skill. It was cooking. That being said, why I tell you to emphasize to get into cooking, I used to struggle with cooking. It's a skill. Your mom has been cooking for many, many years for you to cook those frijoles and huevos and pinche tortillas every single day because it's a skill that she's used ultimately a lot. What I've realized is that a lot of people struggle with weight loss is because they can't go through the barrier of making their own food, which is cooking. And I wouldn't blame you. When I first dated this girl, she used to get mad at me because I didn't know how to cook. Bro, I didn't even know how to cook an egg. That's crazy. So that being said, I'm really emphasizing you to go into cooking. Why I tell you this is because when you're starting to get into cooking, you're going to be more into the healthier options. You're constantly always paying for double or triple the amount of prices for the foods that you're going to be getting that are less than what you're actually paying. Why would I want a $12.99 foot-long sub when I can make that and get double the product and more nutrients for a little bit more? But the price difference and the presentation and what you're putting yourself in your body is going to be two completely different factors. That being said, when you go into cooking, go very small. I always start with eggs. All you really got to do is just put butter on the pan, put the amount of eggs you want, and just move them around on medium-high heat. It's that simple. All you have to do is flip the pan to the plate, and there you go. You just made something. You officially just made a meal. I remember this strong memory of when my ex-girlfriend got mad at me for not learning how to cook because we wanted to bond and obviously learn how to cook together. But she always just takes over and she says, it's kind of depressing how you don't know how to cook an egg. I took that to heart because I always loved cooking. I don't know, ever since I was a young boy, I've always seen Gordon Ramsay or other cooking shows, and it's just so fascinating how you're able to make a whole masterpiece, or like a meal, of just ingredients. And this is the crucial factor I'm telling you, is because cooking helped me so much to learn how to lose weight effectively. Because once you go into the grocery stores and look at the foods that are actually beneficial for you, you are more likely going to promote healthy eating. Therefore, you're going to have a good microbiome. Therefore, you're going to be losing weight more effectively. You go to the grocery stores and you always get the stuff with the cardboard box and a plastic bag, but understanding that those are not real foods. Those are prepackaged lab-based meals. When you're eating foods, it should be single base ingredients. Why the hell, if I want to get a freaking muffin and it has a bajillion ingredients? Wouldn't it be just bread? Wouldn't it just be wheat, flour, blueberry, butter, stuff like that? No, but I have corn, high fructose syrup, modification starch, or some bullshit food that I don't even know what it made out of. Yes, it's tempting because it's very cheap. You are essentially just paying low quality food to fuel your body. It is like owning your sports car and putting a low amount of fuel octane into it. Of course, it's not gonna run properly. It's the same goes with your body. The saying is that if you start getting into cooking, you will start getting into the healthier options. And then most of the healthier options are actually a lot cheaper. Do not get into the idea of thinking healthy food is expensive. Because if you're thinking healthy food is expensive, you are buying the foods that are ultimately expensive. You are buying stuff that are like the prepackaged meals, the low fat, high protein types of meals. I'm telling you right now, those meals are literally just simple scams. Those snacks are literally just psyoping you and just slapping protein on it just so your dumb ass can buy it. Literally. Healthy food is still cheap to this day. You're able to get 3 meals and spend $30. When you have a girlfriend and you're actually going to start losing weight, $30 is only for 2 sandwiches. But if you could get $30 for 3 fucking meals, and yet you don't feel fucking hungry after 20, 30 minutes after, there's a big, big difference and a really, really good return on investment. I was hanging out with my group of friends, and one of them was really hungry. And they kept saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. One of my friends was like, let's order DoorDash. That total came up to $60. And guess what we bought? Just 3 subs. We had to wait a whole last hour, and the food was literally this freaking small. So I emphasizing really start cooking. You're gonna get into the branch of eating healthier because when you start eating out and start buying foods from there, it starts to add up, and yet eventually you're gonna become broke because you're gonna be eating foods that you know you could just make at home. This is just the capitalism that you live in with restaurants and honestly just terrible food out there in the world. Understanding that those foods that you really find really palatable, they don't really give two shits if you're fat. All they care about is you believing what they're saying, and so you can spend your hard cash money for them to live a profit. Understanding the world already has given you what the foods that you need. Anything that's been man-made is just solely for profit. So start treating your body properly and start really learning how to cook. Other thing is going to be fasting. People don't really understand what fasting really is. I always say it's about not eating during a certain amount of window block. This was a very crucial skill to have because it helps me to learn how to develop willpower. I felt a little bit more energy, and honestly, hunger cravings used to eventually ended. That being said, I always had the window block from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. That gives you a short amount of window block and actually makes you condense on the meals that you need to be eating. Now, there are going to be some struggles like a hunger hormone that's coming up, like ghrelin. But the crazy thing is that this hormone is honestly just stupid. Really. It just tells you it's hungry because there are no certain blocks of you eating, like the hours that you're eating at. Let's say if I eat at 12 p.m. Every day that passes by 12 p.m., ghrelin hormone is going to be activated because normally I usually eat at 12 p.m. But the thing is that I don't actually have to listen to that hormone and continue my day after and after because it's a cycle. It usually just goes up high because it's getting ready for you to eat, and usually dips down below after an hour or so. But then again, if you are feeling really, really hungry after a long time, let's say 2 hours pass and yet you still feel hungry, of course you can start cooking your own meals and start eating those types of foods. I never really struggled with this because I've always wanted to lose that weight really, really bad. And so I said, I mean, anything by means necessary for me to be able to lose that weight. When it comes to fasting, I've realized that there's a lot of benefits from it. Like I said previously, my energies have increased. My sleep quality has improved. You start to feel human again, honestly. I know when I used to be 205 and used to just be overweight, it used to be a struggle for me to wake up every morning. I was always tired, groggy, never really wanted to pursue the next day, getting ready for whatever new opportunity was going to come. So I strongly emphasizing if you haven't done fasting, start by eating at 12 p.m. and stop eating by 8 p.m. Dig deep into your mind where honestly, screw breakfast. The term breakfast literally says break fast. Why the fuck are you gonna introduce some foods that are essentially really bad, like the fucking waffles, the hash browns, the pancakes? Understanding that those are literally just gonna spike your insulin, and you wonder why you get low energy throughout the fucking day. The biscuits, the muffins. My fat ass used to go to Biscuitville every single day, every morning, and getting a fucking ultimate sausage biscuit, a big fucking muffin, large wedgies, and a fucking Dr. Pepper. And I wonder why it was such a big bag. It was $15. Imagine that, spending every single day, filling up on carbs every single day. And I wonder why I was such a big bag. Now I look at Biscuitville and I just fucking hate how they don't care. They did not care. They didn't care I was fat. That owner does not give two shits. As long as I'm giving him money to his wallet, he's fine. I'll be fat. The foods that you're consumingly eating, like the junk food, is because they have this ingredient, sugar. And sugar it's like a drug. Recently, when I went to go work, I ate a donut, and it was such a strong pull. It was just such a strong pull for me to completely not eat it. I had to literally use willpower because it was so struggling for me to look at it. I had to literally calm myself down and be like, I cannot eat that again. That's what these companies are doing for you. So please, don't eat breakfast. Screw breakfast. Really strongly emphasize eating lunch and dinner because these are the two. I even eat like this. I don't even eat breakfast to this day. Why do I need that? I don't need that. This is where you need to get into an active lifestyle. I'm telling you right now, you need to start getting into bodybuilding. Not the bullshit of, I'm in the weight loss journey. That's some gay shit that you don't really need to have. I need to stop eating that because that cupcake is like too much calories. I'm in my weight loss journey. You need to get into bodybuilding. When you're doing fat loss journeys, the first thing that goes through your mind is go running a mile every single day or running on that fucking treadmill like you have a fetish or something. I'm telling you this right now. When you start getting into bodybuilding, this is where you start building muscle. And while you're going to start building muscle, that fat that you have already is going to use that to replenish the energy that you wasted the day before. You're taking chunks of your fat for it to replenish more energy for you tomorrow. Understanding that this is going to help you so much because getting into bodybuilding not only makes you feel like, someone who has a lot of willpower, discipline, motivation, honestly striving for the best because it tells you that you need to absolutely hit failure. You're giving it all you need when it comes to getting into bodybuilding. Of course, do not be eating like a bodybuilder because you were already fucking bulking already. But strongly start emphasizing getting into the mindset of bodybuilding, where they do the all or nothing mindset, where they push themselves through the days where they don't feel like it, through the days where how the workout messes up, how some people break their shoulders and stuff like that. It's not that scary, but getting into bodybuilding will be a strong, good motivation for you to start getting into a active lifestyle. What I've also noticed too is the best way for me to actually lose weight effectively, and it's something that I always tell you, is really go on a 5-mile jog. I've really realized that going on a 5-mile jog is such the most beautiful thing to experience because all I have to do is just put on my shorts, put on my shoes, put my headphones, and go run a mile. It's so peacefully because I actually go to see nature, I feel happy, and I'm not running. I strongly emphasize it to not run. I'm telling you to jog, light jogging. I came to a realization that you don't need to be doing cardio every single day. Top max 3 times a week. But you could just do light cardio because this is going to get you into level 2 cardio and this is going to be able to get you in the fat burning mode. I realize that cardio isn't a fat loss thing. I view it as a way for you to get leaner. I've realized it doesn't destroy your muscles. It doesn't destroy your testosterone. It doesn't destroy anything. I think it's just a way for people to stop doing cardio because it tells people like my fatter self to get my ass to the gym. Understanding that when you're in a Mexican household, life is different. You have a mother who's working probably full time. You have a father who is or isn't present. You go to school or go to work. You work every single day maybe, and yet you go home and play video games with your friends. That's what I did majority of my life. And I realized that it's just such a depressing lifestyle to live and honestly a struggle. Your mom works her ass off to feed you food. And it's not the best food that you have, but that's what you have to eat. And it's the food that's keeping you fat because she doesn't know anything else besides working. She buys you that McDonald's. She makes you frijoles. She makes you freaking that spaghetti letters. But if you incorporate cooking, fasting, and having an active lifestyle, your life will completely change. These are the skills that helped me be able to lose all that fat and live a life that I've always wanted to live and have a body that I never knew I was able to achieve. So put down that fork and go lift some weights, brother. And I'll see you soon. On a quick note though, if you actually want to start losing weight more effectively, I actually have a course down below to be able to streamline your weight loss journey more effectively. Of course, you could always just wait until you trust me. I will always make these videos for you. Have a good one.